I think it's fair to say that nearly every American firmly believed that he was going to get
richer and richer.
Every year, the country knelt to a golden calf in a blanket of red, white, and blue. How you making out, Clarence?
Mr. Robertson, I'd like to lay another $10 on that General Electric. You do that for me?
How much stock do you own, Clarence?
Oh, well, this 10 ought to buy me $1,000. So altogether, I guess I got me about $100,000 in stock.
And how much cash you got at home?
Oh, I guess about $40, $45.
All right, Clarence. Let me tell you something. But I want you to promise not to repeat it to anyone.
I never repeat the tip you give me, Mr. Robertson.
Well, this isn't quite a tip. It's what you might call an untip. Take out your stock and sell it.
Sell? Why, just this morning in the paper, Mr. Andrew Mellon was saying that stock's got to keep going up. You got to.
I have a great respect for Andrew Mellon, Clarence. Know him well, but the man's up to his eyebrows in the game. He's got to say that. You sell, Clarence. Believe me.
I never like to criticize a customer, Mr. Robertson, but I don't think a man in your position ought to be carrying on that kind of talk. So take this 10 and put it on General Electric for Clarence.
I tell you something funny, Clarence?
What's that, sir?
You sound like every banker in the United States.
Well, I should hope so.
Yeah, well, bye-bye.
Happy
Why don't we all move to your house? And you can sit here in an 11-room apartment. And we'll send the maid every day to do his laundry.
He's brushing his hair, Rose, but I'm telling you, he's not happy. I think what it is, he still misses Mama, you see.
Now that's serious. A man his age still misses his mother?
No, our mother, Mama. He thought Papa still misses his own mother. No, he didn't. He's kidding you. Oh, you! Go hurt him up. I don't want to miss the first scene of this show. It's supposed to be wonderful. You see, what it is, something's always happening here.
Trafalgar, 57711.
I mean, with the business and the stock market, Papa just loves all this.
See you again soon, Charlotte.
You ready, Papa?
Sure. I'm thinking I should get rid of my wishes and funds. Oh, 1,000 shares? Remind me to talk to you about gold, will you?
Rose will come and visit every few days, Papa. Sunday we'll all come and spend the day.
Brooklyn's full of tomatoes.
No! They're putting up big apartment houses now. It's practically not the country anymore. On some streets, there's hardly a tree. I'm looking at that bracelet. Is it new? For my birthday. It's gorgeous. He gave the exact same one to his mother. She must be overjoyed. Why not?
Well, I'm going.
Bye-bye, Grandpa.
You be a good boy.
I will.
There goes the border. I live to see it.
Want to come and ride with us?
No, I think I'll stay here and work on my radio set.
Good. And go to bed early. Tonight I'll bring home all the music from the shows, and we can sing it all tomorrow. Goodbye, darling.
Why don't you get a haircut?
Well, I did, but you're out, I guess.
Shouldn't you talk to your mother about college or something?
Oh, no, not for a couple of years.
Huh. Okay.
So, where did I leave off yesterday?
Your mother had scalded the cat.
There's something else, Doctor, but I feel a conflict about saying it.
That's what we're here for.
I don't mean in the usual sense. It has to do with money.
Yes?
Your money.
What about it?
I think you should get out of the market.
Out of the market?
Sell everything.
Could you talk about the basis for this idea? When was the first time you had this thought?
About 4 months ago, around the middle of May.
Can you recall what suggested it?
One of my companies manufactures kitchen utensils.
The one in Indiana?
Yes. Around the middle of May, all of our orders stopped.
Completely?
Dead stop. And now it's the end of August, and they haven't resumed.
How is that possible? The stock keeps going up.
30 points in less than 2 months. This is what I've been trying to tell you for a long time now, Doctor. The market represents nothing more than the state of mind. On the other hand, I must face the possibility that it's merely my personal fantasy.
Yes, your fear of approaching disaster.
But I have had meetings at the mortgage bank all week, and it's the same in almost every industry, not just my company. The warehouse is overflowing. We can't move the goods. That's an objective fact.
Have you told your thoughts to your colleagues?
They won't listen. Maybe they can't afford to. We've been tossing the whole country onto a crap table, a game where no one is ever supposed to lose. I sold off the lot 2 years ago. But tomorrow, when the market opens, I'm cashing in the rest. I feel guilty about it, but I can see no other way.
Why does selling make you feel guilty?
Dumping 12 million in securities could start a slide. I could wipe out thousands of widows and old people. I've even played with the idea of making a public announcement.
That you're dumping $12 million? That could start a slide all by itself, couldn't it?
Yes, but it would warn the little people.
Yes, selling out quietly might not disturb the market quite so much. You could be wrong, too.
I suppose so. Yes, maybe I'll just sell and shut up. You're right. I could be mistaken.
You probably are. But I think I'll sell out anyway.
Fine then, Doctor. Oh, and one other thing. This is going to sound absolutely nuts. But when you get your cash, don't keep it. Buy gold.
You can't be serious.
Gold bars, Doctor. The dollar may well disappear with the rest of it. Well, good luck.
Your hand is shaking.
And why not? Ask any two great bankers in the United States, and they'll tell you that Arthur A. Robertson has lost his mind. Gold bars, Doctor. And don't keep them in the bank, in the base. Take care now.
No, that's just about ease and what we
Henry?
Mr. Durant, Miss Morgan, Miss Livermore, Miss
The name of Jesse Livermore was uttered in my family like the name of a genius, a Shakespeare, a Johnson, a corporate spy.
And William Durant. He had a car named after him, the Durant 6.
A car? Durant had control of General Motors, for God's sake.
Not the Jesse Livermore.
Afraid so, yes.
Well, I declare, sitting here just like two ordinary millionaires.
Ah, yes. The great man. The fabled high priest of the never-ending food.
This is certainly a better evening for me. I suppose you know Durham quite well.
Durham? I can't say I've ever been there.
But you're a big Philip Morris prince there. You do still own Philip Morris.
Oh, yes. But to bet on cars, you don't ride them. I never mix the business. I'm only interested in stocks.
Well, that's sort of miraculous, isn't it? To own a place like that and never to see it?
Would you care to join us?
My brother's in brokerage. Randolph Morgan.
I thought it was Randolph when I bought the controlling shares of IBM. Fine, though.
But I don't understand why he's included in that in his office. Mark sold to that, isn't it?
Oh yes, but there's an avalanche of signing orders from all over the country, and they're working around the clock to tally them up. In fact, Mr. Clayton over there at the end of ours is waiting for the latest estimates.
I'm sure something will be done, won't there? They've cut off our telephone.
How's that?
It seems Daddy lived on loans the last few months with his credit stock. I had no idea. I feel like a figure in a dream. I sat down in the dining room the other day, absolutely famished, and realized I had only 40 cents. I was surviving on chocolate. Whatever happened to come with all the money?
You mustn't worry, Miss Morgan. There will soon be plenty of money. Money is like a shy bird. The slightest rustle in the trees and it flies forever. But money cannot bear solitude for long. It must come on feet. That's why we must all deposit it into our company.
And they were nothing but pickpockets and a crowd of innocent pilgrims.
Why, with Rockefellers announced this morning, the clowns probably already know.
Yes, but they also believe.
What did they believe?
What did they believe?
Why, the most important thing of all, that talk makes facts.
If I were you, Miss Morgan, I would prepare myself for the worst.
Now, Bill, there's no good in that kind of talk.
And they ended up believing it themselves.
It's far more dreamlike than you can imagine, Miss Morgan.
There they are, chatting away. While the gentleman at the end of the bar,
That gentleman who just was on the telephone is undoubtedly stealing himself to tell me that I have lost control of General Motors.
What?
If I were you, I'd muster all the strength I have, Miss Morgan. Yes, Clayton?
The tickets are practical, sir.
Am I through?
If you could borrow for 2 or 3 weeks, sir.
From whom?
I don't know.
Good night, Miss Morgan. How old are you?
19.
I hope you'll look things in the face, young lady. Shun paper. Paper is a plague. Good luck to you.
Bill, we have to talk.
I was going to say, Jesse, go to bed, old boy. It's long past midnight.
say, didn't Durant end up managing a bowling alley in Toledo, Ohio?
Yeah, it broke.
Wait, what's Philip Morris going for? Can I tell?
Below 20, no higher. It couldn't even find any buyers at all.
But Rockefeller.
It doesn't seem to have had any effect, sir. I must get back to the office if I'm very sorry, sir.
Mr. Livermore?
Sorry I'm late, Diana. How was the trip? Bad, Jesse?
I'm wiped out, Arthur.
Come on now, Jesse. A man like you's always got 10 million put away somewhere.
No. I always felt that if you couldn't have real money, you might as well not have any at all. Is it true I've heard that you sold out of time?
Yes, Jesse. I told you I would.
Arthur, can I borrow $5,000?
Certainly. 5 weeks ago, on his yacht in Oyster Bay, he told told me he had $480 million in common stock.
What the hell are you doing? My God, don't you believe anything anymore?
Not much.
Well, I guess I can understand it. But I can't say I admire it. I guess it's your country now.
Not long after, Jesse Livermore sat down to a nice breakfast at the Sherry Headland Hotel, and calling for an envelope addressed to Arthur Robertson, inserted a note for $5,000, went into the washroom, and shot himself.
Is Randolph going too?
Diana. Randolph is dead. He fell from his window.
But what about being a dentist? Well, either one.
shoes.
Good morning, Mr. Bones. I got your car next to more bill for you. And after that, go traffic.
What is that, Frank?
Oh, looks like a garage bill.
And what is that about tires over there?
Those are the tires we bought last week, sir.
And what happened to those tires I bought 6 weeks ago?
Oh, they were no good. They were all quick. And I'll be the first to admit that.
But $20 a piece, and they last only 6 weeks?
That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. They were just no good. This said be a whole lot better now.
I'll tell you what.
What I mean, give you my personal guarantee on this set, sir.
Frank, I never paid no attention to these things. But maybe you heard of the stock market crash.
Oh, yes, sir. I certainly have.
I'm glad you heard about it, because I heard a lot about it. In fact, would you clear to be selling my tires over the last 2 years?
Oh, no, certainly.
Frank, looking back over the last 2 years, I never heard of that amount of tires in my whole life. Because I come over here, maybe at the age of 6. That is a lot of tires, Frank. So I tell you what we're going to do now. We're going to drive her over to the Pierce Arrow showroom and leave her there. Then come back to my office and we'll sell her up.
But how will you get around?
I'm a happy man in a taxi, Frank.
Well, should we start leaving people?
No hard feelings. It all comes to an end. Good luck.
But what am I supposed to do now?
You got any laws?
Never got along with them.
You should have. Taxi!
You got lost. Walk away to nothing. No social security, ain't got a bit of insurance. Just the in-laws and fresh air. Got no place to go. I'm home about ain't just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving. I'll stay with my love. On our block in Brooklyn, a lot of married children had to move back in with their parents. And there were babies crying in houses that hadn't had a baby in 20 years. But of course, the doubling up could also drive you crazy. Do it!
There's no room for these in my closet.
Poor PK.
It was about my hat. You shouldn't have bought such a small house, Rosie.
We'll put them in the front hall.
But people will step on them. And what about my hat?
Papa, what do you want? We are doing what we can do.
One bathroom for so many people is not enough, Rose. You used to have 3 bathrooms in the apartment. And then you used to look out to the whole New York. Here, listen to the streets out there. It's a Brooklyn cemetery. And this Bobby here is very bad. Look what he did to me.
Why? It's beautiful. It's just a even.
I don't see how a man can go bankrupt, then turn around and pay his debts.
For his reputation.
Reputation? A reputation of a fool. The reason to go bankrupt is not to pay your debts.
He wanted to be honorable.
That's the whole beauty of it. He should have came and asked me. When I went bankrupt, I paid nobody.
Papa, I've got to tell you something. From now on, I wish that you would just...
And you have to talk to Lee. He rolls around in his bed, wakes me up 10 times, and he leaves his socks on the floor. 2 people in that bedroom is too much, Rose.
I don't want Rose to get ugly, Papa. He's starting a new business, so he's nervous. So please, don't, Papa, please.
What did I say?
Maybe we can find an umbrella stand somewhere.
I was reading about this Hitler.
Who?
He chased a rat place out of Germany. He wouldn't be so bad if he wasn't against the Jews. This Hitler wouldn't last more than 6 months. The Germans are no fools. They should take their mother out to Baden this time of year.
How beautiful she was.
Once I remember waiting on the train to leave Berlin when a man gallops up and calls my name. And so I said, yes, that's me. And through the window he hands me my gold watch and chain and says, you left this in your room, Martha? Only such a thing will happen in Germany. This Hitler's finished.
Put them back in your closet. I don't want Mo to get mad.
And do you know how to go bankrupt?
Mom! Mom!
What?
Do you remember that I emptied my bank account for the bike?
So,
There's no more money in the bank, Mom. There's all mob of people in the street yelling, where's their money? They've got cops down there and everything. There's no more money in the bank.
you're a genius.
Imagine. I could have lost my $12.
That's wonderful.
Oh, no, Mom. Wasn't that Pa's wedding present?
I hate you, but
But isn't there anything he can do? I mean, what about his business? Can't he?
he put too much capital into the stock market. It made more money there than his business, and now it's not there. But thanks to the government doing it too. Go. When you come back, we can have a jelly sandwich. Where's your bike? They stole your bike. May he choke on his next meal. Oh, my darling, my darling. What now you're going to have to wash the hot shop like everybody else. Come, have your jelly sandwich.
No. I think I'll see if I can trot there. It'll be good for my track. Oh, I've almost decided to go to Cornell, I think. Cornell or Brown.
Oh, well, there's still months to decide.
We gather together to ask the Lord's blessing. He chastens and hastens His will to make known the wicked oppressing. Now cease from distressing. Sing praises to His name. He forgets not His own.
Till then, probably most people didn't think of it as a system. It was more like nature.
Like weather. Had to expect bad weather, but it always got good again, if you waited. And so we waited, and it didn't change. And we waited some more, and it never changed. You couldn't hardly believe that the day would come when the land would give. Land always gives. But there it lay, miles and miles of it. And there was us, wanting to work it, and couldn't. It was like a spell on Iowa. We was all there, and the land was there waiting. And we wasn't able to move. Amen.
Just sit tight, folks. Starting in a few minutes. Looks like snow up there.
Even the weather ain't working.
You'll be catching colds and the corona attack, won't you, Henry?
Clear it out. Never slept a wink all night. Not a wink.
Now you'll have to share the cup.
but it's something hot anyway.
Well, that smells good, man.
You can't be sitting on the ground like that. No, come on. It's an auction. Anybody's got the right to come to an auction.
There must be 1,000 men along the road. They never told me they'd bring 1,000 men.
Well, I suppose that's the way they do it.
They got guns in those trucks.
Well, it's too late to stop them now. So I might as well go around and talk to the people that come to help you.
Brewster, where's Brewster? What's up, Charlie?
Judge Byrne, he's going to call the auctioneer.
Well, I don't see what that changes. I guess we're going to do what we come here to do. Is that right?
That's right. Take it to him, there.
Good morning, gentlemen. I want to say a few words to you all before Mr. Howard starts the auction. Now, I have come here personally this morning in order to emphasize the gravity of the situation that has developed in our state. We are on the verge of anarchy in Iowa, and that is not going to help anybody. Now, you are all property owners, so
Used to be judge.
Brewster, I will not waste words. There are 40 armed deputies out there. I want to make only one point clear. I have levied a deficiency judgment on this bond. A contract is sacred. Mr. Taylor has failed to pay what he owes on his equipment and some of his capital. The National Bank has the right to collect on his loans. Now, Mr. Howard will begin the auction, but he has discretionary power to decline in reasonable bids. I ask you again, obey the law. Once law and order go down, no man is safe. Mr. Howard?
Well, now, let's see here. We have one John Deere tractor and combine. 3 years old, beautiful condition. I hear bids on the tractor and combine. 10 cents. I have 10 cents. 10 cents?
500.
$500.
Sheriff, get over here protecting the people.
Get out here, $500.
500.
$500. You out here, $600. $600. You out here, $700.
Rosa, great God, what are you doing?
We're coming in close and we're going to string them up. Y'all get back on that road and we're going to string them up. So help me Christ, he goes up if any one of you deputies interferes in this auction. Now, let me just clear up one thing before you Judge Bradley.
Let him go, Brewster. Let him take it. I don't care anymore.
Just sit tight, Henry. Ain't nobody taking anything. That's all over with, Judge. Mr. Howard, just to save some time, why don't you take a bid out of the whole place? Do that, please.
I hear bids and everything. Tractor, combine, 26 cows, 8 heifers, 2 mules wagon, burning out buildings, sorted tools. Do I hear
$1.
$1? $1. Sold for $1.
Sign this receipt, please. Henry, why don't you go along now and get some milk?
Come on, folks. Henry Taylor, you're nothing but a thief. This is a crime against every law of God and man. This isn't the end of it either.
Should we build on top of? Of course we build them. They're ours. Henry?
It's like I stole my own place.
Nobody knows how many people are leaving their hometowns, farms, and cities, and hitting the road. Hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Americans, eternal refugees, transformed into strangers.
How long must I live this
hungry in the evening, and I'm hungry at the break of day. Was pretty hard. My family had a little old cotton farm in Arkansas. The man had to be on the road. Leave his wife, his mother, just to get a little money to live on. God help me. I couldn't get anything. And I was too ashamed to send him a picture. Oh, dirty, ragged. Write a postcard. Dear mother, doing wonderful. Hope you're all fine. And me sleeping on a Los Angeles sidewalk under some newspaper. My mom say, oh, my boy's in Los Angeles. He's doing pretty bad. All the way on the Santa Fe. I was so hungry and weak. I began to see snakes under the smoke. Until the white hobo named Callahan got his scissors on me, right between his legs. Otherwise, I'd have fell off into the cornfields there. But besides for Callahan, there was no president in the hobo jungle. Everybody was so worried and sad looking. They were so evil to each other. I still hear that train sometimes though. I still hear that long low whistle. Still can hear that whistle. Still can hear that long slow sound. Still can hear that whistle. Still can hear that lonesome sound. I got
around here wanting to go to college, there's only one way you're going to do it. The scholarship fund of Dad.
When you say $100 tuition, that's for 4 years, right?
Well, no, that's for 1 year. Now you see, that's just Columbia State. Minnesota here's 150, and Ohio's about the same, I think. Huh? You always got drowsy when the news got bad. And now, the mystery of the marked house began. Practically every day you'd see the poor stranger walking weary and ragged down the road, past house after house. But at ours, he'd stop and walk right up to the back porch and ask for something to eat. Why us?
Hello? Sorry to be bothering you on a Sunday and all.
Who is it, dear?
This is my mother.
How do you, ma'am? My name's Taylor, and I'm just passing by wondering if you had any work around the place.
Hey! Milgram! Oh,
Another one looking for work.
I could fix the place or paint the roof. Electrical, plumbing, masonry, gardening. I had my own farm. You did all that, don't you know?
Well, we don't need you, kind of.
where are you from?
State of Iowa.
Iowa?
I wouldn't hardly charge if I could have my meals.
Whereabouts in Iowa?
My sister's husband is from Cleveland.
No. Cleveland is nowhere near. Whereabouts?
You know spots?
I only know the stores in the big towns.
Well, I never expected to meet us.
What's the matter?
Excuse me. I'll go get water.
I'm sorry.
Is it your heart?
Here. Drink this.
Thanks, son.
He better sit down.
You want to sit down? Come, sit down.
You got some kind of heart, mister?
Would you be able to give me something to eat?
You're hungry?
Yes, ma'am.
Better get yourself.
Oh my God in heaven.
So, what are you doing? Just going around?
Well, no. I came east from a lost farm. They were supposed to be hiring me in New Jersey. They were supposed to sell it. I only got 2 days. Been to the Salvation Army
He was taking their farms away, that judge.
So you take him into court and you lynch him?
But it's all wrong, Pop.
Don't argue.
But you think it's wrong, don't you? Suppose he came and took this house away.
I refuse to think about it. So, where do you sleep?
Excuse me. We're not interested in where you sleep. Mr. What's your name?
Taylor, I wouldn't hardly charge if I could sleep in the basement.
There's no more room for another human being in this house, including the basement.
I wasn't asking for charity.
I'm going to loan you $1. Suppose they start a whole new life. Here. The penny back. But don't rush. Glad to have met you. Good luck.
Thanks for the soup, miss.
Our name is Guam. Have you children?
One's 15, one's 9.
Oh. Well, take care of yourself. And write your wife a letter.
Yes, I will. Goodbye, sir.
Stay with the rope.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Mr. Taylor.
Bye, Sonny.
Who was that?
He's a farmer from Iowa. He tried to lynch a judge, so she wanted him to live in the basement.
What's the farmer doing here?
He went broke. He lost everything.
He should have borrowed.
I'll run down the street and tell him. You got me kind of hungry. I'm going to go down to the corner and get myself a chocolate soda. What do you say, Lee?
I don't feel like it.
Don't be sad. Life is tough. Sometimes not as tough as other times. But it's always tough. Come, have a soda.
No thanks, Pop.
Be back right away.
Oh, give it to me.
That man was starving, Grandpa.
No, that man wasn't starving. He was hungry.
But he was. He fainted right before my eyes.
That's not starving. In Europe, they starve.
Here.
Besides, you're going to figure out what to do in a few weeks, so you can forget about the whole thing. God only makes one person at a time, Lee. Think about yourself.
His name is Theodore K. Quinn, the greatest Irish soft shoe dancer to ever serve on the board of directors. They know him at Lindy. They loved him at 21. High on top of the American heat is Ken Quinn, hardly 40 years of age in 1932.
My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for furs and laces. My baby don't care for high tall places. My baby don't care for rings or very expensive things. She's sensible as can be. My baby don't care who knows that. My baby just cares for. My baby just cares for. My baby just cares for me. Ted Quinn. Come over, Arthur. I've got to see you. But come to the 29th floor. I've got a new office.
All this yours?
Yup. You were standing on the apex, the pinnacle of human evolution. From that window, you can reach up and touch the mustache of the almighty God.
Ted,
Jesus, don't say it like that, will ya?
President of General Electric?
I'm not sure I want it, Arthur. I'm not, goddammit. I never expected Swope to pick me.
city for the last 5 years?
No, I swear not. I just didn't want anybody else to get it. Seriously, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I mean, now that I'm standing here, and now they're about to put my name on the door, and the Times sending in a
What the
report.
hell got into you?
I don't know. It's almost like shame.
Shame? For what? It's that damned upbringing of yours. That anarchist father.
No, it's just I've never really been comfortable with some of the things we've done.
But why suddenly, after all these years?
It's different being a man who takes in order and being the man who gives them.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I had a very unsettling experience about 18 months ago, Arthur. Got a call from the Philadelphia district manager saying that Frigidaire was dropping its prices on boxes. So I told him to cut ours. Within a matter of weeks, they cut, we cut, they cut, we cut. So I finally went down there myself, because I was damned if I was going to get beat in Philadelphia. So I finally cut the prices right down to the cost of production. Well, ting-a-ling-a-ling, phone call from New York. What the hell's going on down there? Gotta get down to Wall Street and have a meeting with these money bullies. So there we are, about 10 of us, staring across that blind glare at the teakwood table, when lo and behold, who is sitting there but Georgie Fairchild, head of sales for Frigidaire. I mean, old friends and I, Georgie and I go way back. But he is Frigidaire, you know. What the hell is he doing in a GE meeting? Well, it turns out both companies are owned by the same money. And the word is that Georgie and Quinn are going to get those prices up where they belong. Well, I was absolutely flabbergasted, you know. Here had been fighting Georgie from Bangkok to Bronx, laying awake at night trying to think of how to outfox him. How we were like Grant and Lee with thousands of men trying to kill each other. When it was like all these years I've been shelling out my own men. It's farcical.
It's amazing. You're probably the world's greatest salesman, and you have an ounce of objectivity.
Objectivity, Arthur, if I'm that great of a salesman, which I far from deny, it's because I believe in the creative force of competition.
Exactly. And GE is the fastest growing company in the world because
We've had the capital to buy out one independent business after another. I mean, it's haunting me, Arthur. Thousands of businesses are going under every week now. And GE is getting bigger every day. What's going to become of the independent business once everyone's sucking off the same tip? I mean, how can there be an America without Americans? People not beholden to some enterprise that would run their souls.
am I hearing what I think? Ted, you'd actually resign?
If I did, would it make any difference to you whatsoever? I mean that I made some statement that...
What statement can you possibly make that doesn't call for return to the horse and buggy? The America you love is stone cold dead in the parlor, Ted. This is a corporate country. You can't go back to personal enterprise again.
A corporate country? Jesus, Arthur, what a prospect.
The reporter from the Times is waiting, Mr. Quinn. Unless you'd like to make it tomorrow.
No, it has to be now or never. Send her in. I mean, am I moving your mind at all, Arthur?
Well, of course I see your point. But you can't buck the inevitable.
Miss Grant?
Morning, Miss Grant. My friend, Mr. Robinson.
Oh, yes. How do you do?
Nice to meet you. I'll see you later.
No, stay. I won't be long.
I really should be getting back to my office.
I'm still the president, Arthur. Stay. I want to feel the support of your opposition. Have a seat, Miss Grant.
I have a few questions about your earlier life and background. I hear your father was one of the early labor organizers in Chicago.
Miss Grant, I'm resigning.
I beg your pardon.
Resigning, I said.
From the presidency? I don't understand.
You see, I don't like giant businesses, or giant governments, or giant anything. And the laugh is that no man has done more to bring GE where it is today.
Well now, I think this takes us up the society section on the front page. But tell me, how does a man with your ideas
factory that manufactured light bulbs for auto headlights. Now say you got an order for 5,000 bulbs, right? Now the manufacturing process wasn't too accurate, so you need about 8,000 or 9,000 to come up with 5,000 perfect ones. So the result was that there were thousands of bulbs left over at every week. So one day on my own time, I went over the papers, did a couple calculations, came up with a new average. Turns out you only need 6,500 to come up with 5,000 perfect ones. So the result then was that I saved the company over $100,000 in 1 year. Now, the boss and I became very friendly. He made me manager of the plant. But one day he says, "Ted, I'm selling out to General Electric." But they didn't know if they could keep me out, you know? So one day he says, "Ted, tell you what I'll do. These three men are coming down, you know, these bankers, you see, and I'm going to let you pick them up from the depot." So, you know, I was just some hick-town kid, about to meet these great big juicy Wall Street bankers. Hell, I hardly slept at night thinking of how to impress them. So, one day, just about breakfast time, I thought, the wall. See, this company had this wall, right? About a block long. 2 stories, no windows, just a big wall of bricks. So, thinking one of them might come up to me and ask me, "Ted, how many bricks do you think is in that wall?" So, I headed over there right away, right? Multiplied the vertical, the horizontal, and got the number. Well, next day, I get these 3 bankers in my boss's limousine, right? We ride. Not one word. 3 of them in their long fur-lined coats, not one goddamn sentence. I mean, so we round the corner, right? Not one of them turns to me and asks me, "Ted, how many bricks are you supposed in that wall?" By God, I told him anyway. I mean, he couldn't believe it, right? So he gets out, he counts himself, broke the ice. So one thing led to another, made me manager of the plant. That's how I became president of GE.
What a good plan. Will you join another company?
No. See, I've been toying with this idea of starting an advisory service for small businesses. Now, say a fellow has a concept, right? I can help him market and develop it, because I know all that. And maybe I can keep those individuals coming. Because with this depression nowadays, you hear it more than ever. A man is not worth a bag of peanuts. I don't know the question, I don't know the answer, I mean, but I sure as hell know the question. How do you keep everything big and swallowing everything that's small? So when that's happened, God Almighty, it ain't gonna be pretty.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Quick. Good day. Good day, Mr. Robinson. I must say.
Well, she was massively overwhelmed, was she?
She heard the gentle clip-clop of the horse and buggy coming down the road.
Well, maybe that's what you ought to invest in, Arthur. A pair of horseshoes.
You never did like doing things a small way. Well, this is unquestionably the world record for the shortest presidency in corporate history.
My baby don't care for shows. My baby don't care for clothes. My baby just cares for me. My baby don't care for furs and laces. My baby don't care for high-tone places. My baby don't care for rings or very expensive things. She's sensible as can be. My baby don't care who knows that. My baby
like children. And it becomes harder and harder to remember when life seemed to have so much purpose, when you couldn't wait for the morning.
At Cornell, there's no tuition fee at all if you enroll in bacteriology.
Free tuition?
Maybe they're short of bacteriologists.
Would you like that?
Bacteriology?
Must be awful. Is anything else free?
It's the only one I've seen.
I've got to finish this book before tomorrow. I'm already overdue 14 cents on it.
What is it?
Cornet by Manuel Camera. It's about this royal crown that gets stolen, then lost, then found again, and then lost over generations. It's supposed to be literature, but I don't know. It's very enjoyable.
Mom? I guess it's too late for me to enroll in a college this year. Don't you think so?
I imagine so. For this year.
All right, Mom.
I feel so terrible. After all those years, we had so much money, and we were throwing it around, and now we need it.
It's okay, really. I was thinking of maybe even trying to look for a job, but I wasn't sure whether to look under help wanted male or boy wanted.
Boy, don't be frightened, dude. You'll be wonderful.
But Ma, it's useless to go to employment agencies. There's grown men there. College graduates, engineers, they're all willing to take anything. Let me have just July. Just July. If I write one hit song, we wouldn't have to worry ever again. And that man was serious. He's a good friend of a waiter that works for Bing Crosby's manager Eats. I can give him any song I write, and if Bing Crosby sang it one time, just one time.
I want to talk to you about Doris.
What Doris?
Doris. Doris from downstairs? I've been talking to her mother, Sydney. She likes you.
Oh. Yes.
She says all Doris ever does is talk about you.
What is she talking about, me?
No! Nice things. She likes you.
Doris? She's 13!
She'll be 14 in December. Now, listen to me, Sydney.
What, Ma?
I want you to make up your own mind, but it's all up to you. Papa's never going to get off his back again. After Lucille's wedding, we can forget about her salary. Doris's mother, Mrs. Gross, she says, you know, being she's a widow and with her goiter and everything.
What?
She says, if you like Doris, only if you like her, and you would agree to get married, when she's 18 about, or 17 even. Mrs. Gross says that if you'd agree to it now, that we could have this apartment rent-free, starting next month.
Forever?
Of course!
Suppose next year or the year after that, I find some other girl, and I really, really like her.
All right. And supposing you marry that girl, and the year after, you meet another girl you like better. What are you gonna do? Marry every year? But I only wanted you to be aware of the situation. I'll close the door. Everything will be quiet. Write a big hit, Sydney.
Once in a while, will you try to give one little thought to me? Once in a while, will you think of the moments I spent with you? Gee, Doris, you're really terrific at this. I guess the most shocking thing is what I see from the window of my Riverside Drive apartment. It's Calcutta on the Hudson. Thousands of people living in cardboard boxes next to that beautiful drive. It's like an army encampment down the length of Manhattan. And at night, you can see their campfires flickering. And some nights I even walk among them. Amazing, the humor they still have. Of course, people still blame themselves rather than the government. But there's never been a society that hasn't had a clock ticking on it. And you can't help but wonder, how long? How long will they stand for this? So now Roosevelt's got in. I'm thinking he better move, and he better move fast. You can't help it. First thing, every day when I get home, I look down from my window at those campfires, reflecting off the river throughout the night.
Today is going to be a good day, darling. I know it.
I think you're right. Goodbye.
Don't squeeze it. I put cookies in it. And listen, it doesn't mean you'll never go to college.
Oh, I don't mind, Mom. And I like your writing machine. I'm lucky I got the job.
But all those years we had so much, and now when we
See ya. I thought you left a long time ago.
I walked you away. Good job?
It's okay. I can't believe they picked me.
Good. How much money have you got?
Money have I got?
I mean, right now.
Oh. Well, I have 35 cents. I'm okay.
I have a quarter. I need you downtown.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You've got your lunch. I'll need a hot dog later.
All right. I have $1 back at home. Should I go get it?
No, no, no. Don't go back. Don't get it.
Oh, all right.
She works.
I know.
we went down to the subway together, and it was hard to look at one another. So we pretended that nothing had happened. But something had. It was like I had started to support my father. And why this should have made me feel so happy, I don't know, but it did. And so to cheer him up, I began to talk to him. And before I knew it, I was inventing a fantastic future. I said that I'd be going to college in no more than a year, at most 2. And then I'd straighten out my mind and become an A student, and not only get a job on a newspaper, but have my own column, no less. By the time we got to 42nd Street, the depression was practically over. And in a strange way, it was. In here. Even though I knew we had a long, bad time ahead of us. So like most people, I waited. With that crazy kind of expectation that comes when there is no hope. As I waited for the dream to come out from wherever it had gone to hide.
I must stop getting so stupid. I don't see anything, I don't hear anything except money, money, money.
Looking back, of course, we see that there were two sides to it. With the banks foreclosing left and right, I picked up some first-class properties first off. I made more money in the 30s than ever before, or since. But I knew that a generation was coming to age that would never feel the sense of opportunity.
Well, after a lot of jobs and savings, I finally made it to the university. And it was a quiet island in the street. 2 pairs of socks and a shirt, plus a good shirt and a Mackinac, and maybe a part-time job in the library, and you could live like a king and never see cash. So there's a distinct reluctance to go out in that world out there, where you knew nobody wanted you. Joey, I'm not believing my eyes. Is it possible? What? You're a dentist.
Well, I hope things are better when you get out there.
Have you decided what to do?
There's supposed to be a small aircraft plant, still working in Louisville.
Too bad you picked airplane propellers for a specialty.
Oh, they'll make airplanes again, as soon as there's a war.
But how could there be another war?
As long as there's capitalism, baby.
There will always be another war. As long as, according to the Bible at least, and if not, I'll probably go into the ministry.
I never knew you were religious.
I'm sort of religious. They pay pretty good. Your house and a clothing allowance.
Don't forget to read Karl Marx, Lee. And if you're ever in the neighborhood of the Truthic, look me up. I'll keep an eye out for your byline.
Well, I don't think I'm going to get a job on the newspaper as soon as I get out. They're closing all over the place. But you mail me a card if you open an office, you hear?
I'll probably be in my girl's father's basement. He'd probably dig up the floor so I could stand up.
But what do you do about equipment?
I figure 2, 3 years I'll just put a down payment on a used drill. Come by. I'll put back those teeth Ohio State knocked out.
Sure will. So long, Rudy.
Well, you might still be seeing me around next semester.
You stay on campus?
Yeah, for the sake of my root canal. If I take one university course, I'm still entitled to the health services.
You mean there's a course in the Let's Go you haven't taken?
Yeah, Roman bandits.
What?
Not really, in the classics department. Roman bandit students. If I really think about it, what am I running off to anyway? Chicago was full of anthropologists. And here, the university's like my mother. I get free rent, wash dishes for my meals, and get my teeth fixed. And who knows, I might pick up the newspaper one day and there's an ad. Handsome, young, college graduate, good teeth, must be fully acquainted with Roman bandits.
skinny men with their backs against the storefronts? It's all stopped, like a magic spell. And the anger, the anger, when they're handing out meat and beans to the hungry, and the maggots wriggling out of the beef, ugh. And that man pointing his rifle at the butcher, demanding that fresh meat that the government had paid him to hand out. How could this have happened? Could Marx have been right? The paper says that 12 executives in tobacco make more than 30,000 farmers who raised it. How long can they stand for this? The anger has a smell. It hangs in the air whenever people gather. Fights break out all of a sudden, and then they simmer down just as quick. Is this when revolution comes? And why not? How would Mark Twain write what I've seen? Armed deputies guarding cornfields while starving families sit by the side of the road, staring at the food which no one can buy, and it's just rotting on the stalk. It's insane!
But how can he become a sports writer if he's a communist?
The zoo. It's very fancy. Out of the landscape, the street, I know. The zoo they come so where all the breeze flow to grow. And tell me what street from Christmas sweet in July. Sweet push cars gently by.
Hello, honey.
Could you start calling me Joe? It's less anonymous.
Whatever you say. Hey, you couldn't come later, could you? I was just ready to go to sleep. Had a long night.
I can't. I gotta catch the girls before they get to the office. They like the flower on the desk. And later, I'm tired.
Ain't that uncomfortable? Hey, 2 pairs of pants?
It's freezing cold on that subway platform. The wind's like the Gobi Desert. The only problem is when you go up to pee, it takes twice as long.
Selling books too?
No, I'm reading that, trying not to forget the English language. All day long, all I hear is profanity. I've really been meaning to tell you this though. It's so relaxing to talk to you, especially when you don't understand about 70% of what I'm saying.
Hey!
In here, I feel my sanity coming back, to a certain extent. Down on the subway platform, I really wonder maybe some kind of lunacy is taking over. People stand there talking to themselves, and loud with gestures, and the number of men who come up behind me and feel my ass. What scares me, see, is that I'm getting too nervous to pick up a drill if I ever get to practice dentistry all I want. The city is crazy. Yesterday, a hunchback comes up to me, apropos of nothing, and starts yelling, "You'll not find one word about democracy in the Constitution. This is a Christian republic." Nobody laughed. The Nazi swastika is blossoming out all over the toothpaste ad, and it's only getting worse. There's a man on 48th Street, 8th Avenue, selling 2 hot dogs for 7 cents. What can he make?
2 for 7? Jesus.
I get the feeling that one bright morning, millions of people are going to come pouring out of the buildings and, I don't know what, kill each other, or only the Jews, or just maybe sit down on the sidewalk and cry.
It's about family?
No, it's just called the origin of the family, private property, and the state, by Frederick Engels, Marxism.
What's that?
It's based on that all of our beliefs are basically ruled by money.
Oh, right. Hey. Yeah.
No, it's not what you think.
It's a whole book about that.
It's about socialism, where all the girls would have jobs so they wouldn't have to do this, you see.
Oh. Well, what would the guys do, though?
Well, say for instance if I had the money to open up an office, I'd probably get married real soon.
Yeah. Then I'd get married, guys. I even get 2 dentists that you brought me. Bernie and, Alan. And they've got offices, too.
You don't understand. He shows that underneath all of our ideals are basically ruled by economics between people. And it shouldn't be.
What should it be?
Well, you know, like love.
Oh, that's nice. Hey, you think I can read it?
Sure, try. I'd like your reaction. I like your early Isabel. You look so fresh. It gives me an illusion.
Well, I'm sorry if I'm tired.
Say, did Bernie finish the filling?
Yeah, he polished yesterday.
Open. Bernie's good. We were in the same class, you know. Say hello when you see him again for me.
He said he may come around 5 o'clock. He always tells me to give you his best.
Give him my best, too.
Silly you, I never had so many dentists.
Sometimes you get the rumor they be hiding in New York City. So, we'd all head for New York City. There wasn't nothing in New York City. So, we head for Lima, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, Elizabeth, Minnesota, or go down Baltimore or Alabama, or Decatur, Illinois. Anywhere you go is always in jail. I was in a chain gang down in Georgia for 4 months just for hoboing on the train. That was 1935 in the summertime. When they set me free, they give me 35 cents. Yes, sir, 35 cents is what they give me. Picking cop for 4 months against my will. But still in that train sometimes, though. So, still in that long old whistle. the river long? I ain't seen you around here before. Have I?
Oh, no. This is my first time down. Remember, I'm from New York City. I'm just kind of looking around the country, talking to people.
What you looking around for?
Oh, nothing. I'm just trying to see what's happening. Have you ever heard of Mark Twain?
He from around here?
Well, a long time ago, yeah. He was a story writer.
I ain't seen you around here before. You went down at the post office?
No, but I might. I'm kind of surprised you can get 15 cents per slice down here these days.
Oh, white folks love watermelons. Things better know that he is down here?
Well, probably not quite. I sure hate to be one of you folk down here, especially with this depression.
Mister, if I could tell you the God's honest truth, the only thing about depression is it probably hit the white folks. Us folk ain't never had nothing. Well, now, here comes the big fella.
Is he trouble?
He's anything he wants to be, mister. He's a shark.
Isaac,
Yes, sir.
sit down.
Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm just talking to the phone. Relax, boy. You don't bother me.
Looks like rain.
I don't know.
Yeah. Always is in Louisiana. Anything I can do for you, Sheriff?
You read the paper today, Isaac?
I couldn't read my damn aeroplane rolling in the sky, Sheriff. You know that.
My second cousin, Alan, state senator.
Uh-huh.
The governor just appointed him. He's gonna help run the state police.
Uh-huh.
Coming down to dinner Friday night, bringing his wife and 2 daughters. I'm gonna try to talk to Ann about a job on the state police. They're still paying the state police, see?
Yeah. Well, that'd be nice, won't it?
Isaac, I'd like you to cook me up some of that Mexican fried chicken around 6 o'clock Friday night. I'll pick it up, okay? That'd be for, let's see, 8 people. My brother and his wife coming down too. I had to give out a little spread there. Get them talking a little good, you know. What'd that cost me for 8 people out here?
$10.
10.
That's right, Sheriff.
I want to show you something, Isaac. Our radio, you see?
Play?
Sure. Play real good. Paid $29.95 for it 2 years ago.
I'll plug it in.
Go on ahead. Sure. You sure painted this place up real nice, Isaac. It's like a real restaurant. You ought to thank the Lord.
I sure do. The Lord and fried chicken.
You know, the county ain't paid nobody in 3 months now.
Yeah, I know. Where I switch it on?
Just turn it on. There you are. I'm going to try to talk to Ann about a job on the state police. They're still paying the state police, see? And I think
I can't hardly hear it.
Hey, Isaac, gotta get the air alive. I tell you what, you give me 8 fried chicken dinners, and I'll let you know this for collateral. Okay? Here we go, man. Nice fat chicken, here. Run a little scruff.
Who's that talking?
Sound like somebody up north.
Hey, that's Roosevelt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sure. That's the President of the United States.
So we got
Does that mean that's the reason we get married?
I just wish you hadn't said that.
You think I'd do such a thing for an apartment? What must you think of me?
It's just that I love you so much.
If I could only write my own song or pass the post office exam, then I'd have my own money and all this garbage would stop.
I said I love you. Why don't you say something?
I love you. I love you. But I tell you, you know what I think?
What?
Honestly, I think we better talk about seeing other people.
What other people?
Hon, you're still young. And even at my age, it's probably not a good idea if we've never seen other people.
Well, who do you want to take out?
No.
Then what do you mean?
Well, it's not that I want to.
Yeah? But who?
I don't know. Maybe what's your name? Margie Gann's sister.
You mean Esther Gann? With the...
And not her.
You want to take out Esther Gann?
Not necessarily. But for instance, you can take out Georgie.
What Georgie?
Georgie Krieger.
You're putting me with Georgie Krieger, and you take out Esther Gann?
It was only an example.
Yes, I'm Georgie.
Forget Georgie. Make it, I don't know, you choose.
Well, how about Morris?
Morris? You mean Morris from...
Yes, Morris from the shoe store.
Really?
Yes, didn't he go to your city college?
No, he did not. He went one semester and still walks around with a comb in his pocket. I think we better wait.
I don't know. I think it's a good idea. At least it's on a little older.
No, we'll wait. We'll think about it.
But you know.
No, we'll think about it, hon.
Play sitting around.
It's not any good.
What do you mean? It's your greatest. Please.
You got me sitting around, just watching shadows on the wall. You got me sitting around, and all my hopes beyond recall. When will I know the words of love? When will I feel your lips on mine?
That's all the reason I'm wearing your
Instead of sitting around and all the world is passing by, you got me sitting around and I'm only born to cry. When will I know the words of love? When will I feel your lips on mine? Instead of sitting around, sitting around, sitting around.
I don't understand this. I distinctly read in the paper that if anybody wants to work, go direct to the WPA and they get you a job.
They changed it. You can only get a WPA job now if you've been on the leave. first.
So this is not the WPA?
I told you, Dad, this is a relief office.
Like welfare?
Look, if it's embarrassing for you.
Listen, if it has to be done, it has to be done. Now let me go over it again. What do I say?
You refuse to let me live in the house. We don't get along.
Why can't you live at home?
If I can live at home, I don't need welfare. That's the rule.
So I can't stay outside.
Correct.
And you rent a room someplace.
Right.
They're gonna believe that.
Why not? I'll give you clothes over there.
All this for $22 a week.
What would you have me do? Even old-time newspapermen are out of jobs. If I can get a job on the WPA writing project, I'd at least get experience if a real job came along. I've explained this a dozen times, Pop. There's nothing complicated.
I'm just trying to get used to it, all right? I shouldn't look too friendly.
That's the idea.
I don't like you, and you can't stand aside of me.
That's it.
So he laughs.
That's our bush.
Looks like it was.
Probably was.
I did a lot of walking back in those days, and the contrasts were startling. Along the west side of Manhattan, you had 8 or 10 of the world's greatest ocean liners tied up. I recall the SS Manhattan, the Bering Guardian, the United States. Most of them would never sail again. But at the same time, they were putting up the Empire State Building, tallest in the world. But with entire streets and avenues of empty stores, who would ever rent space in it?
Please, what will you do if they give you a big shelter job?
I'll take it.
You'll be cold in the streets.
It's no disgrace, Dad.
It was amazing to me how long it lasted. I would have never have believed we would not have gotten out of it before this. The years were passing. A whole generation was withering in the best years of its life.
What do you expect from a country that puts a Frankfurter on the Supreme Court? Felix the Frankfurter. Look it up.
Ah, get back in the cluck, you cuckoo.
Who's talking to me?
Don't mess with me, mister.
Yeah, you don't.
We have another riot here, folks. That we're gonna have Mr. Kabush for 3 days running now. You live in the Bronx, you've got to apply in the Bronx.
It's all right. I'll wait.
Leave him alone, will you? Lilo said it's mine.
Ah, he's a bastard. I saw him talking there in the square plenty of times.
Jesus, here we go again.
You know I'm 10 o'clock, Mr. Ryan.
I'm doing the best I can, Irene.
That's what the good Lord said when he made the jackass. But he decided to knuckle down and try hard. Folks been thrown out on the sidewalk, mattresses, pots and pans, and everything else they own. Now you listen here. They going back in their apartments today, or we gonna raise some real hell up in here.
I told you, Irene, I got more appropriations at the end of the month, and that's it.
Mr. Ryan, you ain't talking to me. You talking to the local 45 of the workers alliance, and you know what that means.
Communist Party.
That's right, mister, and they don't mess. So you just get on your phone and call Washington. And while you at it, you can remind Mr. Roosevelt that I done swayed 128th Street for him in the last election. And if he wants to swing again, I suggest he get the crack.
Excuse me. What? You told me to bring on the back, will you?
This country is going to end up at the top of the trees throwing coconuts at each other.
I hope you get out of here right away. I have a wonderful life.
Boy, oh boy. Look at this. Helen Hayes is going to put on 40 pounds to play with the role of Victoria Regina.
Who's that?
Point it in.
She was so fat.
Victoria, she's a horse. I once picked up Helen Hayes when I had my calf. She was small. At 8 hours from Mountain Dew, he paid $500 for a new floor, including bumpers and a spare. But at least I got into the housing project. It's nice and reasonable. What do you pay? $19.50 a month. What's your line?
I sell on commission right now. And you still own a business.
Useless. Whoever you talk to is not useless. Tell you something. If they don't do something about this quick, this used to be a country.
Ignorance! Ignorance! People don't know facts. Greatest public library system in the entire world and nobody goes in but Jews.
What are you, Iroquois?
He's a fascist. I saw him talking on Union Square.
Solidarity, folks. That's what we need. Black and white together. Join the Workers Alliance. Ain't nothing but 10 cents a month, and you get your stuff from solidarity.
I challenge anybody to find the word democracy in the Constitution. This is a republic. Demos is a Greek word for mom. Come to get my money and the bank is closed up. $4,000 up to fluke. Saving 13 years in Harvard, 5 a week.
Mental diarrhea.
Oh, give me all they know.
Then what are you doing here?
Roosevelt was sworn in on a Dutch Bible. Anybody know that? Bet you didn't know that, did ya?
Hey, mister.
I got nothing against code. Code never took my store away. Here's my bank book. See that? Bank of the United States. See that? $4,610.31, right? Who's got that money? Saving 13 years by the week. Who's got my money?
Arthur Clayton, I think there's something the matter with you.
Hey, mister. Somebody help this man.
We're gonna call the ambulance.
Mister.
You all right? Clayton, I'm Clayton. That elephant got furniture and valuables. But nothing I can realize anything on. Why not?
This man starving, Mr. Ryan.
What are you, a medical doctor now, Irene? I called the ambulance, so don't start making an issue. Is this your address? Where Mr. Park South? Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. I haven't really eaten today. Where do you get that kind of rent? I haven't paid my rent in over 8 months. You got furniture and valuables to start. You can't. But I'm just figuring. I was a broker. I thought if I could get anything that required, say, statistics.
Greg, you got anything in that bottle?
Ain't much left there.
You drank this here. See, man starving.
Here, for God's sake. Sit down and give him a bottle of milk.
Lucy, here I am, Irene. Come here, sugar. Go down the corner. Get a bottle of milk and a few straws. You in bad shape. Why you wait so long to get on the list?
Well, I just don't like the idea. You know.
Yeah, I know. You a real bourgeoisie. Let me tell you something.
I'm a chemist.
I believe it too. You so educated, you sooner die than say brother. Let me tell you something. My husband, he passed away and leaves me with 3 small children. No money, no work. I was about ready to stick my head in the cooking stove. Then that old city monster come take my drawers, my chest of drawers that is, bed, and my table, and leave me sitting on the orange tray in the middle of the room. That's when I see it. I see it to get me. And I got real mean. Go down the street, yelling and holler like a real mean lady. Then, them old people crowd around the monster truck, and before you know it, that monster truck turned itself right back around and went downtown, empty handed. That's when I see the solidarity. And I start to preach it up and down. Cause I got me a stick. And when I start upon the time with this here stick, a whole bunch of people start to mock. Keep in time. That's right. We shall not be moved. And no why shall we be disturbed. You know, some days I go to that old courthouse just to raise hell with the judge. Every time I go down to that old courthouse, them old cops come in to holler, here come that old lawyer woman. And
I left the crucifix hang on it, so they think I'm Catholic too. Ain't that Oh, let me get baby. Thank you. This is stuff.
Lee Bond? Oh, I'm here. Dad, let's go. Is your father?
Yes.
Where's he living? I don't live in a mansion. Where's he living, Mr. Bond?
He rents a room someplace.
You gonna sit there and tell me you won't let him into your house?
I won't let him in, no.
You mean you're the kind of man who came to your door and nobody saw him standing there? Wouldn't let him inside?
Well, naturally, if he just wants to come in.
I don't want to hear what you want, though. You're living in the house, right?
I can't stand the sight of it.
Why not? I saw you there talking the last 2 hours.
We weren't talking. We were arguing, fighting.
Why do you call it what?
Who can remember? We were fighting. We're always fighting.
Look, Mr. Bond, you're employed, aren't you?
I'm employed? Sure, I'm employed. Here, look. Read it. Our information, right? Ladies, full-length slip. Genuine Japanese silk. Hand embroidered. Lace top and trimmings. $2.98. My boss makes 4 cents on these. I make 1/10 of a cent. That's how I'm employed.
Let him into the house.
I will not let him into the house. He don't even get anything.
Now and then, you really have to wonder what held it all together. And maybe it was simply the future. We were not yet ready to give it up. Like a god, it was always worshipped among us. And the people were not yet ready to turn their backs on it. Maybe it's that simple. Because, from any objective viewpoint, I can't see why it held.
Any girl with an apartment of her own, what? Beautiful. She, with one of the dialogue writers, is this. For the Superman comic strip. Edie. And I live here tonight.
Oh, hi, Lee. Yeah, sure. Just let me finish up and I'll finish you down my house. This is going to be a terrific sequence.
It's amazing how you can keep your mind on it.
He's also a great teacher of class consciousness.
Superman?
Stands for justice.
Oh,
people. Faces spiced up.
Don't be such a bourgeois horse's ass. I'll be
Do you think that I can sleep in your bed tonight? I don't know what it is lately. I'm just always lonely. Aren't you?
Sometimes. But a person doesn't have to go to bed with people to be connected with mankind.
You're right. I'm so ashamed of myself. I don't know. You know I want to be a sports writer. I don't want to ruin my chances.
You could write for the workers' sports page.
The Daily Worker Sports page?
Then help improve it. Why are you so defeated? Hundreds of people are joining the party every week.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm just too skeptical. I'm too cynical. Like when I was in Flint, Michigan during the workers' sit-down strike, I thought I'd write a feature story. All those men barricaded in the GM plants, their wives being put up to the window in baskets. It was like the French Revolution. But then I got to talk to them as individuals. And prejudice, the ignorance. Did you know that in the Portland there's damn near race war because some Negro workers didn't want to join the strike? It was murderous.
Well, they're still backward. I know that.
No. They're normal. Sometimes I wonder if there's going to be time to save this country from itself. Do you ever wonder that? You do, don't you?
Do you really want my answer?
Yeah.
We're picketing the Italian consulate tomorrow to protest Mussolini sending Italians to Come, do something. You love Hemingway so much, read what he just said. One man alone is no damn good. The second is he is, even he's learning.
Really, you're so beautiful and...
Anyone can be beautiful if what they believe is beautiful. I believe in my comrades. I believe in the Soviet Union. I believe in the working class and the peace of the whole world when socialism comes.
Boy, you really are wonderful. Listen, now that I'm on relief, how about I take you out to dinner? I'll pay.
Why must you pay? Because I'm a woman?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I've got to finish this. I'll make a sheet on the couch and I'm done. So how's the workers' project going?
I think I might be getting on. They're putting people on a WPA writer guide. It's going to have the detailed history of every section of the country. I might get sent up to the Lake Champlain district. Imagine, they're going to be interviewing direct descendants of the soldiers who fought the battle of Fort Ticonderoga. Let's see, that was Ethan Allen and Green Mountain Boys.
Oh, yes. They beat the British up there.
It's a wonderful project. People really don't know their own history.
Socialism comes, everyone will.
I never smelled an owl, but in July, the smell of the attic crept down the stairs, and to me it smelled as dry and dusty as an owl. From Coney Island to Brooklyn Bridge, how many thousands of women waited out the afternoons, dreaming at their cars and praying for luck? Luck.
Cindy's finishing a beautiful new song, Aunt Rose. Maybe this one will be lucky for you.
Why are you always so bad?
I'm only half a block away, but you're so young. Why don't you get dressed and leave the blossoms around? All my girls love it home too. To you, isn't it? Just a minute. I'm trying to make up my mind. Forget your dander for a minute. Concentrate. It wasn't dander. It was a thread.
Her dander brought thread. It's so special.
This spring she actually called me and my sisters to come spend the day cleaning her house. What's so terrible about that? You said the most marvelous time before was cleaning the house. It's turning into an oven in here. I'm going to faint. Don't faint. All the windows in the back of the house are open. We're supposed to be wet. But there's no draft, Rose. For Papa's sake, why couldn't you be away and you left a window open? Just don't open the door.
I don't want to take the chance. This one's a professional collector. I've seen him do it. If a window's open, he tries to listen. They're merciless. I sent Stanislaus for some money. We'll have Copenhagen. But
I can't believe they'd actually evict you, Rose.
you can't wake up Fanny. It's a bank. May they choke after the fortune of money he kept in there all those years. Ask him for $200 now.
Oh, Rose, don't. Don't cry. Something will happen. Mama's got to find something. A man so well known. Couldn't he ask his mother for a little?
His mother says there's a depression going on. Meanwhile, you can go blind from the diamonds on her fingers, which he gave her. The rock. I tell you, the next time I start believing in anyone or anything, I hope my tongue is cut out. Maybe we should come back and help out a little. Never. Leah's going to think his own thoughts and face the facts. He's got nothing more to learn from us. Let him help himself.
But you take up communism.
Lucille, what do you know about it? What does everybody know about it? The newspaper. The newspaper says the stock price will never go down again. But there gives God, Aunt Rose. I'm overjoyed you became so religious, Lucille. But for God's sake, don't tell me about it again.
I'll be right down.
Now she's going to pee on her fingers for luck.
All right, so it won't go. And I wasn't going to pee on my finger.
So what do we play? Cards or sketches?
Why do they need this election?
What do you mean, why do they need this election?
Everyone knows that Roosevelt's going to win. I think it's radical, but to go through with another election is a terrible waste of money.
What are you talking about, Papa? It's been 4 years. There has to be another election.
Why? If they decide to make him king,
King?
Believe me.
and if he was king, he wouldn't have to go through these ridiculous election speeches, and he can start improving things.
If I understand, I'd write him a letter.
He could be another Kaiser Franz Joseph, and when he dies, you can have all the elections you want.
Are you playing cards or hatching?
Oh, it's my turn? Here.
Hallelujah.
Are you going to play? I've been trying. I'm thinking of going back to the carnival. Better not mention. He doesn't have to know. And anyway, I would never dance anymore. I'm only a assistant magician and tell a few jokes. They're talking about starting up again in Jersey. Herbie can't find anything. He's going out of his mind, Aunt Rose.
God almighty. So what's going to be, Fanny?
Just a minute. I can't quite figure out what I want to do yet.
When they passed out the brains, this family's got too much.
It's so hot in here, I can't think.
Play. I can't open the window. I'm not going to face that man again. He has merciless eyes. You come in the front door. The mortgage man could come today.
I forgot. But I didn't see anybody out on the street though. First lemonade on that. I starts on the napkins.
Starch dog napkins. They're cracking like bonfires. I feel like you're
I don't know, Aunt Rose. Is it so smart letting that man live with you?
I would never dare. How can you sleep at night with a strange man in your cell?
No, Stanislaus is a gentleman. I think he's a little bit of a fairy, isn't he?
I hope.
For God's sakes, Fanny, let's play clubs. How did you know I had the Queen of Clubs?
Because I'm smart. I voted for her recruiter. I see what's in place, so I figure what's left.
She's a marvel. She's got Grandma's head.
Look at this fortune.
Here, I'm playing.
When I feed the vagrants on the porch, it's amazing. But Stanislaus, when I hand him a bowl of soup, he says he wants to wash the windows before. That I can never heard. I nearly fell over. Go ahead, Doris, too. All right. And just what to do. Wait a minute. When I went to school, we had to sit like soldiers, hands clasped on the desk. Things were supposed to be upright. When the Navy came up the Hudson River, you cried it was so beautiful. You even cried when they shot the Tsar of Russia. He was also beautiful. President Warren Gamaliel Harding, another beauty. Mayor James J. Walker smiled like an angel. What a nose and those tiny feet. Richard Whitney, president of the Stock Exchange, a handsome, upright man. I could name 100 from the road of review. Who could know that these upright, handsome men would either turn out to be crooks who would land in jail or ignoramuses? What's left to believe in? The bathroom. I lock myself in and hold on to the faucet so I shouldn't scream. At my husband, my mother-in-law, and God knows what till they take me away. What the hell did I lay out here? What is this?
Great elegy in a country churchyard.
What?
Rose, why don't you lie down?
Lie down. Why? Hey, elegy. Hey, what is...
It's a raw, rich, moonlit, rich. That's much.
How does he get those napkins to stand up?
What's the jacket suddenly?
SS Manhattan. Captain Stewart, at your service.
Will you stop this nightmare? Take the jacket off. What are you talking about, Captain Stewart? Who are you?
I was Captain's personal steward, but they're not sailing the SS Manhattan anymore. Sir J. Pierpont Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, Enrico Caruso, lousy pepper. Brian Allen.
Cookies, please. I'll pour.
Rose, why don't you come upstairs? How does he look? Why? I think he looks very nice. He certainly keeps the house beautiful, Aunt Rose. It's like a ship.
But he's a liar, though. Anything comes into his head, he says. And what am I believing him for? What the hell got into me? You can tell he's full of shit, and he comes to the door, a perfect stranger, and I let him sleep in the cellar. Listen, Stanislaus.
I go to the ship janitor store, get some pretty white paint. Got lots of credits so it won't cost you a cent.
I thought it over. You understand.
I go down to the hardware store, get a big ladder. I'll go off and put the curtains up in the submarine. Taste the lemonade. I learned that on Spanish submarine. Oops, I gotta go clean up the Xbox. Excuse me.
I think he's very sweet, Rose. Here. Don't worry about that mortgage man, Aunt Rose. It's after 5. They don't come after 5. He's sweet.
What's Lee ought to do, Rosie?
What?
We should go to Russia.
To Russia.
In Russia, they need everything they can get. Round here, they need nothing. So therefore, there's no work.
5 minutes ago, you said Roosevelt was too radical. And now you're sending Lee to Russia?
Look what it says here in the paper. 100,000 Americans are applying for jobs in Russia. If Lee should go and open up a nice chain of clothing stores.
Pablo, you're such a big anti-communist, and you don't know the government owns everything in Russia?
Yes, but they don't own the stores.
Of course they own the stores.
You're hysterical every night.
No, I'm all right. It's just sometimes.
See, the thing is, you listening to me?
Here, Papa. Go out on the back porch. It's shady.
But the man will see me.
No, it's all right. You won't come so late. And Lois here. Go. And put on your other glasses. They look much cooler.
Everything's going to be all right.
Why?
Because it just is. So this nervousness every night is unnecessary. And I wish to God.
It's just a fortune. I was laying out a fortune, and I saw a young man. The death of a young man.
You don't say.
Why? Why did you say that?
Nothing.
Tell me.
You cut that out.
See?
I saw a terrible thing in the subway. Someone jumped in front of a train.
Ah, again? My God, you saw him?
No, a few minutes before I got there. A policeman there was holding a large basket of flowers. Seems he was trying to sell flowers.
I saw it. It's there. That's death. I'm going to write to Lee to tell him to come home. I want you to put in that you want him to come home.
I got nothing for him, Rose. How can I make him come home?
Then stand up to your mother like a man and stop this goddamn fool.
This can't go on forever, Rose. The country just can't die. Will you stop? I'm trying. God almighty, I'm trying.
Rosie!
God had to make a boy. Please, God, give our president strength and wisdom. Dear God, give Mr. Roosevelt wisdom. Help our poor people.
100-yard dash. You and him used to trot to school together.
Oh, Lou, sure, I'll win you.
He's dead. Got into Italy.
Yeah. I've seen all kinds of them. Who the kinds they call
Peace. You know George Rosen got killed too, didn't he?
Once I was homeborn through the high country, the Dakotas and Montana. Come to remind me of the General Custer's last name, the big one. I wrote my name on it, yes sir. For the memories and just for the love. So my name will be up there forever. Yes sir.
But I look back at it all now, and I don't know about you, but it seems to me like it was friendlier back then. Am I right?
I'm not sure if it was friendlier. I think people maybe just cared more.
I mean, like the songs. You listen to 30 songs, and most of them are so happy. Still, you can cry. I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing I'm funny of, baby.
I still do that train sometimes. Yes sir. Still do that long, low whistle. I still do that train.
Are you still writing songs?
Sure. In fact, I had a couple covers. I have a new one now, though. Love you to hear it. I'm calling it A Mood of My Own. I don't know what happened. I was sitting out on my back porch, and it just came to me. A moon of my own. I ran in and told Dorothy, and she was so thrilled. She could hardly sleep all night.
How are you, Doris? Are you still?
Yep. In fact, we were just saying that we're the only people that we know that didn't get divorced.
Did I hear that your mother died?
Yep. Fanny's gone. Sorry to hear about Aunt Rose and Uncle Noah.
After all these years, I still haven't settled with myself about my mother. In her own crazy way, she was so much like her grandmother. It wasn't one thing that she didn't also believe the opposite. She'd sit down on the subway next to a black man, and in a minute have him asking her advice about the most intimate things in his life. And then maybe a day later,
Did you hear? They say the colored are moving in.
or she'd lament her fate of a woman.
I was born 20 years too soon. They treat a woman like a cow, fill her up with a baby, and lock her in for the rest of her life.
But then I came home, and I gave her a real fast graphite dealer, and she was ready to storm the barricades. And by evening, she had fallen in love again with the Prince of Wales. She was so much like a baby. Money obsessed her, but what she really longed for was some kind of height, or I don't know, she could look out and around and breathe in the air of her own new life. To the end, with all her defeat, she believed that it was meant to be a better place. I don't know, but every time I think of my mother, I just end up with this head full of life.
Sing.
There was a time when the word revolution wasn't rhetorical to me.
Roosevelt came in and saved him. Came in at the last minute and pulled America.
Up to a point. But what really got us out of it was the war.
He gave them back the belief in their country. The government was theirs again.
Well, I will give you that.
Of course you will. You're not a damn fool. Belief in the United States is what got them out. No more, no less.
I think that's putting it just